Hey, if you're I'm just jumping in, starting this live. So really just wanted to run through some ideas, concepts, especially if you're just starting out on your Google Ads journey. If you just launched ads for the first time and you're not sure where to go, I just wanted to go over some things that you need to look for. But if you've just launched, then first of all, congratulations. I think with social media, with Google Ads, especially out of the platforms, it's probably the most difficult to navigate to know where to go. There's lots of places that we need to go. So with Facebook, it's all about creatives. There's only a couple of ways you can kind of launch ads, and with Google, there's a number of different things, a number of different products over the years that Google have brought out, especially the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, we've probably seen more changes than we have in the last kind of 5, 6 years of Google ads. So really, I just wanted to go through some concepts and ideas with you if you're new to running Google Ads. And like I said, well done if you've just started out on your Google Ads journey. So first thing, if you're starting to run ads, whether it be for yourself or for others, then one of the things you'll find is you'll have, and I mentioned this a couple of days ago, I've posted a few things on this. Google Ads reps will phone you, give you some advice regards to changing bidding strategy, budgets, that type of thing. Really with this, try to understand it yourself. Don't necessarily listen to a Google Ads rep, only because they very much have a script that they follow, and it's not the type of script that's going to benefit you as an advertiser. It's going to be more beneficial to them. So with Google, we just need to set up the account. Now, one good thing with Google is if you're running ads, then you need to get the tracking sorted out. Now, if you're not technically minded, you're not sure how to do this, you've got a couple of different options. You can either obviously outsource this to get this done, but I would suggest getting it done sooner rather than later. Or you can actually get onto a call with the tag team of Google. So Google have a specialist team that just deals with tag implementation. They do it through Google Tag Manager, which is very good. So I'd recommend do that sooner rather than later. And the reason is that with Google, if you're running ads, and it goes for any platform, if you're running ads, you need to install a bit of code on the website or the landing page that you're running ads to. And then from there, it then collects that data. And we can get quite advanced with the tracking, but we just need to make sure that we've got some sort of tracking. So Google knows what a conversion looks like. Now, what is a conversion? A conversion, if you're new to ads, it could be a submit lead form. It could be making a phone call. It could be a number of different scenarios depending on what you're running. So if it's an e-commerce, it's obviously going to be a purchase. Then we would want to create a purchase event for Google. If it's lead generation, then potentially it's going to be submit lead form, and or somebody's going to make a phone call with you. So it's absolutely no problem to have two conversion events with Google. So you can have a submit lead form and a call, tracking calls as well, and then put both as a primary event for your Google Ads. Absolutely no problem for that, as long as you have some sort of understanding that you need some sort of tracking to send that data back into Google. And the reason is it's simple. If you're running ads and you're spending any type of money on advertising, then we need to make sure that Google knows what a conversion looks like, because Google will automatically try to go for the lowest hanging fruit, which means it will look for the path of least resistance. So if you're starting to see spammy leads coming through, then potentially Google will try to get more of those, because it doesn't know what a lead looks like or what a conversion looks like for you. So we need to train, just like a dog, you need to train the dog to do certain things. We need to train Google to understand what a conversion is. And again, like I said, that's dependent on you as the advertiser working out what you need to do. Now, common things that I see with Google Ads is having multiple campaigns. Start with a search campaign. Again, it doesn't really matter what budget you have. Start with a search campaign. Out of all the different things that we could do with Google, I would start with a search, build that out, understand that we need to create some keyword targeting, add a couple of broad terms in to give you the volume, and then from there, we're adding in exact terms. So what we're trying to do is give the algorithm enough sort of freedom to find the terms. But what you'll find is that Google will show for a lot of irrelevant terms. And then what we need to do as advertisers through our weekly optimization is we need to add negative keywords. Now, negative keywords, if you go into, it's called search terms when you jump into your Google Ads. And then from there, it gives you the terms that people have looked, depending on whether you've got the time frame 7 days or 30 days. So look for 30 days, look for 7 days, look for what people are searching for, what your ads are being seen for. And if you're starting to see that money's being spent on terms that are irrelevant, then start adding those as negative keywords. And you need to be building this out quite consistently and quite a large amount of negative keywords over a period of time, especially if you're just starting out with your Google ads, because we don't want the terms to be seen for what we don't want them to be seen for. So let's give you an example. If we were, say, running ads, say we're a builder and we're running ads for Google, we don't necessarily want our ads to be seen for, as an example, roofer, if we're not a roofer, electrical items, or just anything that's going to be irrelevant based on what we're seeing. Tiling, Google could potentially show for that. So it will show for a lot of irrelevant terms. So we add those as negative keywords, because the keywords we should be targeting are construction companies near me, that type of thing, builders near me. So you need to look through the search terms report and then build it out from there. So remember, as we're building out the broad and the exact, we're making sure that we're getting enough data. And the key is data coming through. So what I see is a lot of new advertisers, they will add in sort of 20, 30, 40 broad terms, and it's just too many terms. You're going to be wasting a lot of money. And with that amount of broad terms, Google will only kind of focus, the budget will only go on sort of 6, 7, 8 broad terms. There is enough budget for Google to spread that. So really, we just need to make sure we're adding in a few broad terms, make sure your ad groups are relevant to the keyword themes that we're adding in, and then we're optimizing on a weekly basis. So things that we need to do: tracking. We need to get the tracking, make sure that that's working. Implementation. If you're not sure how to do that, jump on with Google. Make sure we're adding in a couple of broad terms, add in exact terms as we move forward with the data coming through. Make sure we have enough data points. From there, other things that we need to be looking, we can add exclusion lists in before we've even launched the account. So these are a set of negatives which you can find in the keyword planner, which we add into the Google ads. And what that does is, it makes sure that we're staying irrelevant. So if we know as a builder that we're seeing terms for roofer, I don't know, maybe groundworks based on the keyword planner, tiler, those type of terms, if we're seeing those, we can add those into an exclusion list and then connect those to the campaign that we're running. And then when we launch it, Google won't show for those terms immediately. So straight away, we're reducing the wastage from Google based on exclusion list, just doing a little bit of keyword planning even before we've launched the campaign, something that we do all the time. Now, what we need to do when we're launching the ads, we need to create 2 or 3 ad groups based on keyword themes, and then just change those ad groups just a little bit based on the keywords, just to make them a little bit unique. And that's what we're trying to do, is make everything relevant to what we're trying to do. So with Google, it likes relevancy, and that is shown in something called a quality score. Now, why quality score is so important is when we're launching ads, our ads will go to an auction and then we'll be competing against others. What we're trying to do with quality score is make sure we're getting a 5 out of 10 at a minimum. And then from there, we know that we've got a good chance of winning at the auction based on what's happening locally. So the keywords we're targeting. So again, if we're targeting builders, then we potentially may have building companies near me as a keyword. That keyword will get given a quality score. Google will look at your landing page or your website, depending on where you're running it to, and then it will match the headlines and descriptions, and it looks at the user journey. So all of this data is compiled in your dashboard. And then from there, we need to look at that. And Google will it doesn't explain to you, but it gives you enough data points that you know if your landing page isn't in sync with what people are clicking on for your ad, coming to your landing page, and whether they're converting or not based on the data. And that's where the tracking comes in, because it's tracking the whole user journey based on what we're seeing. Now, I like to, when we're starting off with Google Ads, start off with a max clicks or max CPC strategy. Why? Because we need to get enough data points moving forward. Avoid listening to advanced strategies that absolutely make no sense. There's a lot of people out there who are giving a lot of advice based on strategies that were 12, 15 months ago, maybe worked. What's working right now is to add in some broad, add in exact, unless you're a niche within a niche. So say, for instance, you're a building company. Again, we'll jump back to builders. If you're a builder that does residential and commercial, then obviously you cannot target the same keyword. So what you want to do is, with one of these, maybe the commercial side, you'd want to add more exact terms, because if you start adding in, say, builder near me and then builder near me for the residential as well as the commercial, then what will happen is you'll get the same type of traffic for the commercial, which is going to be a different type of customer, if that makes sense. So what we need to do is add more exact terms when we build out the campaign for the commercial, but with the residential, we can add in some broad and then add in exact as the data comes through. So what we're trying to do is differentiate between the residential and commercial. So it's almost, I like to call it a niche within a niche. And if you can understand that, that's going to save you a lot of negative keywords, a lot of wastage. And remember, Google can only target one of your keyword themes at the auction. So again, building out the structure, having in some broad, adding in exact. The reason I also do this is if we're looking to then scale the campaign, by having this structure, we can make sure that if we add, say, a PMAX campaign, the PMAX complements the search campaign that we're running based on the search terms that we've added. So the keywords that we're targeting, by having more exact, then this supplements or adds on to a better strategy if we're adding in a PMAX. Going into slightly more detail, a little bit more advanced strategies, but just understand that if we're doing this, we need to make sure that we're adding in enough exact terms, because we need to look potentially, if we're looking to scale, add in a PMAX campaign, then potentially we can do that. Now, also fragmentation budgets. Make sure when we're running a budget, you need to be looking at the data. So we need to make sure that if we've got a campaign running, it has enough budget to generate roughly what we're looking for is 10 clicks a day over 30 days. And then what we're trying to do is optimize it to get 30 conversions over 30 days before we change bidding strategy. So I'm not going to go into bidding strategies today, but I've got enough videos on there. But what we're looking to do is understand what your cost per click is. If you can understand what your cost per click is, figure out how many clicks, how much budget you need per day. So from there, you need to generate 10 clicks a day. So if your cost per click is £3, $3, and your budget is 30 a day, then you know that you're going to generate 10 clicks a day. But you need to make sure that you are generating those 10 clicks a day. And then from there, we need to be generating 30 conversions over 30 days. That's the minimum that we want to be doing. And then from there, that's kind of the minimum standard that we want to be seeing with our Google Ads. And the reason is that because what I'm seeing with, again, a lot of new accounts that I'm auditing is a lot of accounts will be spending 15 here, 20 there, 30 here, 70 there. And it's a very easy beginner mistake to make, thinking that having smaller budgets across a number of campaigns is going to be beneficial because we're catching different campaigns. What we need to do is consolidate what you're doing just to have a simple campaign. Another myth is with a simple campaign, even if we're spending 30 a day, 3,000 a day, 10,000, it doesn't matter what your budget is. Sometimes the simplification of an ad account is going to be more beneficial to you as an advertiser. And the reason is that sometimes we can get things mixed up. Start with a search campaign, understand the metrics coming through. And then if you are going to add another campaign, think about the reasons why you're adding another campaign. If it's 2 different products or 2 different services, absolutely fine. You would have different campaigns, not a problem. But if you're looking to add in search terms, is it because you need a branded campaign? Is it because you want to add in a competitor campaign? Again, that's slightly more advanced. That's absolutely fine. But if you're running several campaigns which are very similar, what is the reason? Start asking yourself a better question to get a better answer. Why are we creating different campaigns? Is there a reason we're doing this? And if you can understand that, then that's going to help you as an advertiser. And again, if we're going to start layering on PMAX campaigns, why are we adding in a PMAX campaign? I'm all for PMAX, but we need to make sure that we've got the search campaign working. And it's like building a house. If you've got a good foundation, and again, same with Google, if you've got a good search campaign, which is the foundation, then you can build the platform and add on different products with Google. Demand Gen is a fantastic product that Google provides. PMAX campaigns are another fantastic product that Google provides, but we need to make sure that we've got the fundamentals right. If we've got the fundamentals right, we can do all these fantastic things. So remember, quick recap, tracking, make sure that's working. Broad terms, too many broad terms are not going to work. So you're absolutely wasting your money. Add a few broad terms in. Do your optimizations through adding negative keywords. If you can, add exclusion lists even before you've launched the campaign, and just do your weekly optimizations and understand the data. Has the budget that I've implemented got enough budget for me to see my cost per click? Is that going to generate me 10 clicks a day and 30 conversions over 30 days? Now, you're not necessarily going to get 30 conversions over 30 days straight away because you're optimizing the account, but you want at least 10 clicks per day. And a good way to get that is to start with a max click strategy. I wouldn't necessarily start with a max conversion strategy. Get as much information as quick as possible. Then you can optimize quickly before you then take your bid strategy from a max clicks to a max conversion. There is a reason that we do this. And again, it's the same for lead generation as it is for e-commerce. We still need to get the fundamentals right based on what we're seeing. So I hope that makes sense. If you want me to jump on and audit your account, then always enjoy something I absolutely enjoy doing. But understand that if you are running Google, sometimes the simplification of an ad account is going to be far more beneficial than having multiple campaigns. Don't listen to those who try to make things more complicated. Things should be easy within your Google ad account. And like I said before, if you're running Google ads, well done. Massive congratulations. It's one of the hardest platforms to figure out, but once you figure it out, it does kind of make sense. I've been doing this for a long time. My journey, actually, when I first started running Google ads, I found it very difficult. There was a lot of fragmented information out there on how to run Google ads, and I almost gave up years and years and years ago. But I'm glad I stuck with it. It makes sense to me now, and that's what I'm trying to do is pass this information over to you as an advertiser to make sure that you understand that there's obviously the good, the bad, and the ugly with Google, but just break your campaigns down, start with one campaign. What are you trying to achieve? Get that tracking sorted, make sure that's added in, and then from there, look at the data points, and then you can definitely profitably make a good Google Ads campaign and make some money for yourself, whether it be e-commerce or lead generation. So again, if you want me to look at audit your account, then just let me know and we'll speak to you soon.